Yes. Okay. So while Jocelyn's side, okay, you can see the record slide. So we can move on to the next slide first. And welcome everyone to the LCVP GT session. Very happy to meet every one of you, and very happy that everyone gave your precious Sunday afternoon to attend our session, and really happy for that. And the session is called The Power in Your Hands. Later on, you will know why. And also the tagline for today, if you don't know, is lead the change. So you can also try to imagine what change can you lead, and we will try to give you some answers throughout the session. And before we dive into any parts of the session, I think it's very important for me and Jaslyn to introduce us to you. So firstly, I'm Angela. I'm from Hong Kong, and currently I'm LCVP IGT in NISA and KUST, just as same as all of you. And I'm also working as AP RST in IGT, and I'm working with some sales project. And I know that just with my name and my destination, you won't know who I am. So I'll just like to give a few more facts for you. So the first thing is about how Hong Kong actually has a different timeline. So with me, with my timeline, actually, this is my 9th month on being LCVP. So it's a bit different, but it's almost the same. The second thing is actually suggested by my member, and she is actually here because she actually was in Taiwan for the start of the term, and she told me that I actually look taller in Zoom, but in real person, I look much tinier. So actually, perhaps if you have the chance to meet me someday later on, you might think that I'm also shorter and more tiny than you imagined. And the last thing is about just my personal things, is about I really like to watch movie and TV dramas, but the biggest obstacle for me is always to start. So once I started, I will binge watch everything, but the barrier is always to start. Yeah, I'll pass on the time to Jaslyn.
Amazing. Thank you, Indra. So, hi everyone, my name is Jasleen. I will also be a faculty for this space, and I'm currently the RSP OGT for Asia Pacific. And formerly, I was the LCVP OGTA for ISEC in Chandigarh, which is in India. And a few fun facts about me is like I am this weird introverted extroverted person. So like when I am speaking, I can speak a lot, but then I can also stay silent for like days and days. I hope some of you can relate to that. And yeah, growing up, I wanted to be a detective, so I still ask a lot of questions. Like I'm this very curious person, and I think it's something that really helps me. But apart from this, I also watch a lot of detective shows and dramas. So if anyone wants suggestions on that genre, you can hit me up. And another superpower that I have is like I can be on my phone all the time. So if you ever text me, I'll most probably reply to you within minutes until and unless I'm actually sleeping. So that's the only time that I won't. But yeah, you'll always find me there. So yeah, this is me.
Yep. Thank you, Jaslyn. So before we jump into the session, it's very important for you guys to also know like uh, what is the session about and what will you get out of the session. So firstly, of course, in an international conference, you are expecting to know more of different announcements, information, and we'll be here to give you some more regional context in the current situation of APGT. And because GT is such a big product and it's about collaboration, supply and demand between different entities. So it's never about yourself, and we'll try to give you this vision and big picture in this session. And secondly, it's about to understand your role as a LCVP and how do you think as a LCVP you can make GT possible under the global situation. So this will be the two objectives. And going to our expectations, I know all of you have some expectations to our session, but please allow both of us to also have some expectations on YouTube, like you all. Firstly, of course, we hope that everyone has an open mind and open heart towards different ideas, towards different opinions and everything. And if you can turn on your camera, it will be best for our interaction. And also we can see how do you absorb all the information from us as well. And secondly, we would like you all to think beyond your role, not just think as a LCVP, but try to also think beyond your LCVP role. Maybe you can think in your EP's perspective, in your company's perspective, or even you can think like an MCVP, AIVP on how you see the whole product in a very upward scale. So you can think beyond in different perspective. And the third point is similar to the first point. We would like you to be proactive in the session, no matter to give reactions to us, give some sharing to us, or even be proactive in the breakout room sessions. And before you become reactive, because you don't give reactions at the first part. You need to understand and also think through before you give any reactions. And at last, it's just to wrap up the whole thing. We'd like you all to think and speak with purpose, where you can know exactly why are you doing this and why you are thinking this. Yep. So before we do everything, we'll do a very, very quick check-in. We'll use the emojis on Zoom. So if you don't want to turn on your camera right now, or you're not in the best situation to turn on, it's okay. But if you can turn it on, it would be best. So you can also drag the gallery view towards the left side so you can see more people. And I'm sorry, I just spotlighted both of us, but you can use the gallery view first. Yeah. Okay, so we'll move on to the questions, and then you can give the emoji response whenever possible. Yeah, so go on to your first question. It's about TLC. So if you go on to the first question, how do you feel now stepping into your second last day of TLC? Like, what do you feel? I'm enjoying every TLC moment to the very last day. You can give us a heart, or you can give us the surprise emoji if you think it's very sad that you still have 1.5 days left. Oh, yay, I see some hearts, some surprises. I hope everyone is enjoying your time in TLC as well and can live to the very best till your last moment. Yes, thank you all. And then we go to our second question. How much more things have you planned or imagined, but have you not done in TLC? So if you are giving a heart, you are thinking that, oh, you are completing and wrapping up everything. But if you are surprised, then it's like, oh, I still have a lot of things. Don't end TLC. Please don't end. Oh, I see some hearts. I hope that you did enjoy it and then be proactive in all the sessions. And some surprises, I hope you can finish most of your things that you imagined in these 1.5 days. Yeah, we'll go on to the next question. How ready are you to step up your game after TLC? Like, there's a lot of things in TLC, a lot of experiences, a lot of stories, realizations. How ready are you to improve and to put everything into action? And your heart is, you're very ready, and when you're surprised, you need some consolidation. It's okay. Sometimes there's too much information in IC, and I think it's okay to consolidate beforehand. Okay, we'll have a second last question, I think, or the last question. Okay, how is your GT doing now? So all of you are LCVPs or maybe LCVP elects. So how are you thinking your GT is doing? Is it running smooth, or you are a bit lost, still struggling? But I'm fine. Yeah, I hope everyone is okay. It's okay that you're struggling. We are here to give you some direction, some things to work on as well. And we move on to our last question. Is TLC your first touchpoint meeting other APGTs? Like, have you met each other before in IR meetings, or this is your first point? You can look at the emojis, you can give each other, and you can tell each other about this, and then we can also build some friendships, perhaps. Yay. And that's good then. It's a good space for all the APGTs here. Okay, so afterwards, we'll dive into our first part of the session. So it will be more of an information purpose, because all about an international conference, they are trying to give you more information from AI. Like maybe they are announcing something big, like what they did on the Isaac 2025 day. And they have some announcements, some big strategies, some big changes. And we'd like you to give some updates on the whole situation and give you some regional context as well. So if we are looking at GT as a whole, some past facts and some past data we like you highlight. Firstly, of course, because of the pandemic, in the ELD portfolio, professional programs became the focus instead of GB. And in professional program, it means like global talent and global teacher. So fortunately, everyone is now the focus. And secondly, we know that because GTA, Global Talent, actually contributed to most of the realizations in the last semester. So actually a lot of you did really, really well. And because of this, we also have more and more entities working on GTA and GTE, which means that we have more human resources and more manpower to help us deliver the best experience for our EPs and companies. And at last, of course, referring back to the very, very famous and very, very good the Essence session by Eva on Monday or Tuesday. I forgot. I think it's Monday. Yeah, no, Monday, Thursday. Yeah, the first day. I'm sorry. So virtual exchanges is definitely something that we are looking forward to because we put safety at the best place, and we don't ever risk our EPs and risk our companies. So we will go for virtual exchanges, but if a time allows and situation allows, we do physical also. But that is not just it. What I mentioned was just some past facts. But moving forward, we are actually making GT a more stronger program because ultimately you have to know that this pandemic is something that we need to adapt to, but we are not waiting for it to finish and waiting it for to complete. But we are making our programs more stronger and more relevant to suit to this current situation and to adapt to the not so new normal in some way. So we need to make these more stronger. We need to make our values, our offerings more stronger and more relevant, no matter to our EP, to our companies, to let them see the value of exchange even under this very, very valuable time. But how are you making this stronger and relevant? So we need to recap back to the global directions. So just in case you don't, because all of you don't have the chance to attend the MC sessions, so we'll recap it here, and you can wait for your MCVPs to recap it to you in your network calls as well. So what do we want to see in global talent and global teacher by the end of 2021? Firstly, of course, it's purpose-driven, how we insert different values, different personal development inside the program so as our EP and our companies know what developing leadership is. Secondly, on Agile, how do we make changes and make it adaptive as most of before? Like we make VPP, we make partly remote, we try to make our program as relevant as we can in the whole planetary and the whole global situation. And at last, of course, we mentioned strong again. We like to make our offering stronger and also long lasting since this is a very sustainable product. We are not going to end GTA and GT after the pandemic ends, but we are making it stronger than ever to continue. So it's very important for us to make it long lasting as well, so as it can stay longer and stay sustainable in the long run. With these kind of directions, it's also very important for us to look back at what AP is doing. So we would like to just introduce you to some AP facts, just if you don't know. So it requires your proactive participation. So just keep an eye on the chat box and write your answers if you know. So we will give you some different numbers and you can guess what does this number mean. So first number here is 27. What do you think 27 means to AP right now? Like you can think about everything. Realizations, we have a guest, number of MCs running GT. It's very close, but it's much more than that. Do we have more guesses? Do we have more guesses here? Entities, oh, okay. Number of LCs is much more than that. You can imagine, even for example, in a very small entity, there could be more than 10 LCs, then 27 LCs is definitely too little for us in AP. But we have a correct answer. We have actually 27 entities in the whole Asia Pacific region. So very happy to see everyone in this 27 entities is the same as how many participants we have here. It's nice. Okay, we'll continue. So going to our next number, 17 and 12, it comes in a pair. So it's very related to our previous question. What do you think how do you think it's related? And one brief tip for you is that this session is for GT. It's both OGT and IGT. So what is your guess? Okay, number of entities wanting GTA and GTE. Similar, but another way, like another kind of way to differentiate IGT and OGT. Yes, correct. So actually we have 17 entities running OGT and we have 12 entities running IGT currently inside Asia Pacific. And then we jump to a very, very big number right now. It's like more than 10, more than hundreds. It's 347 and also 18,825. Like, what do you think are these about? Like these are not just entities right now. It's much more bigger than ever. Yes, I wish this was an approved number as well. And I wish this is realization number as well, but unfortunately not. If we are just having this revenue, it's very sad. Yeah, Jocelyn just reviewed the answer to us. Actually, it's the open numbers. So we have from August 1st, we have 347 opens for IGT and 18,825 opens for OGT. I wish we have that many members and no, I want more revenue though. Yeah. Okay, so we move on to the next pair of numbers. Jocelyn, please beware not to give out the answers too soon. Yeah, this is very related to the earlier number as well. And someone actually got this right, like got this answer somewhere before. You can also let us know. Realization, yes, exactly. So actually we have 17 realizations in OGT and 24 realizations in IGT from August 1st and in the whole AP region. So why are we telling you all these numbers? I don't know if you think these numbers are bigger than you thought or smaller than you thought, or is it just right on your expectation? But it's linked up to one of the views or one of the things that I have thought in my first international conference, which was back in last July. I went to the International Congress. It was the first time I got in touch with the whole global plenary and the whole regional plenary. And that was the first time I understand like how big the whole ISAC community is and how big the exchange volume is. Although it's in the pandemic, it's still actually very, very powerful. And I hope that numbers kind of encourages you to take a part of the very big regional plenary as well. And I hope you get something that you can feel something about like connecting to the regional plenary and also the global plenary. If you haven't feel it before, you can start feeling it from the session and see how big ISAC is beyond your LC and your entity. And I'll pass the time to Jocelyn.
Amazing. Thank you, Angela. So we just talked about how big of an entity Asia Pacific as a region is, right? And we saw how it is sort of like a powerhouse for GT. But now what we want to talk about is we want to talk about you, because at the end of the day, like you are the people who make up this region, and this room is like filled with LCVPs, right? So you are like a very big part of this region, right? So we want to ask you, how do you see GTA and GTE, whatever product you're working for, how do you see it creating an impact? And you can just type it in the chat box, or you can just type down whatever words or phrases are coming to your mind when you look at this question, and I can read that from here.
You can just share. Okay, we have answer, Justin. We have increasing the employability of youth, and we have career advancement. Yes. Okay, we have another answer: professional employability, cultural understanding, competency, boosting career. Nice. Do we have any more answers? Yes, career boosting, very important. Yep, global network.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of similar answers.
Yeah, and helping develop our country's business. So this is a new thing. I never thought of them for myself as well. Even I work in IGT. Okay, making Japan one open country for foreign employers. Nice. That's also very nice. Diversity, add value, develop leadership, international exposure. Right. I see there's a lot of values. Innovation as well. Okay. Justin, I think I have all the answers that I want. Do you have the answers?
Yeah, pretty holistic. Cool. Amazing. So I hope you all have seen this. Am I on the right slide?
Not really. Can you move it?
Wait. Sorry, just give me a second.
Yes. Maybe you quit sharing screen and try again?
Yeah,
Is it possible? I'm really sorry for the technical errors. You know, this is with Zoom, the problem of Zoom. So it's always the problem of Zoom. It's okay. We'll continue and Jasmine is all right. Are you okay?
Yeah. Looks good.
Yep. Nice. Okay, we can continue.
Yeah, you can now, right? Cool. Amazing. So I'm sure you all have seen this. This is the value proposition and benefits for global talent and similarly for global teacher as well. And this is as per the blue book, right? So this is something standardized that we have, and standardizing it makes sense because of the scale of operation that we're having, how we're running these products on like a global level, right? So this is why to uniform these things and to have consistency in the product, we have these things, and I'm sure you all know this by heart. A lot of things that you guys said are like, I mean, not a lot of things, but everything that you said is coming from here, right? So, but have you ever asked yourself this question that what does this mean for my entity? Like, sure, you know that, these products and this is what these products are doing. This is the value they hold. This is the impact that they're creating, and they're doing it for someone somewhere. But what does it mean for my entity, right? So, what I'm trying to ask you is that how are you localizing the value of your product, right? So, how you're fitting your product in your local markets. So, have you or your members, like, have you ever faced this situation where you or your members ever found it difficult to sell your product? And I'm sure almost every one of you might have been in this situation. Even I was. Everyone has, been here, right? And this can be due to X number of reasons. It does not mean that you do not believe in the product, right? Because we know that it creates an impact. But how are we putting that across? How are we communicating it to our local markets is has a lot to do with how we are specifying the product to the local market itself, or even within the local markets also you have like different sort of people. And probably when you're like pitching someone and then the person asks you, um, like, why should I buy your product, or why should I choose you over everyone else in this city, in this country, things like that, like why ISEC, why this product, things like that. So this is what this we're trying to talk about when we say localizing the value of the product. And of course, we with the new product evolution, we have like a wider spectrum to work with. We have like different durations, we have different fields. So like we have a lot of diversity in the product itself now, and of course, the local context that we talked about also has a lot of other diversity when we talk about profiles, peoples, markets, IR. So at the end of the day, one question that must be running through your mind right now is how do you operate your portfolio in the best way possible? Because probably this is a question that any and every LCVP will be asking right now, right? This is something that, because anyone who steps into an LCVP role, I believe, he or she always tries to envision on becoming the best LCVP that their entity has ever seen. Like, I hope this is what you're trying to aim for, be it in terms of like upscaling operations, be it in terms of building the base for your product, anything and everything, right? But what you're ultimately trying to do is you're trying to achieve this. You're trying to operate your portfolio in the best way possible. But how do you do that with all of the different variables that we just talked about, all of the complexities that we just talked about? Thankfully, there is one simple solution to this, which is the value proposition canvas. So, some of you might have already seen this, some of you might be seeing it for the first time. Some of you might have been a part of this, like if you were doing like a business model canvas. So, this is a part of the business canvas model if you have ever worked on that. But we will be specifically talking about this part, the value proposition canvas itself for this particular space. Why? Because this is the tool that can help ensure that a product or service is positioned around what the customer values or needs, right? And this is what we've been talking about. We've been talking about how can we make our products fit into our local markets as per the local market realities that we have. So this is the one tool which can help you solve all of the problems or whatever questions you had about the relevance of your product in your local markets. So this is the one tool that can help you with that. So this is how the value proposition basically looks like. It has two components. The left-hand side is, of course, the value proposition itself, which talks about your product, which has information about your product. And the right-hand side is the customer profile, which has information about your customers, your local markets, right? So we'll go like one by one. So for the customer profile, this part is all about you understanding your customers, understanding your local markets, your potential EPs, your potential clients and partners for ICX people, right? Whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, it is all about you and your market. Now, if you guys have seen this, this is the customer, global customer persona for global talent. We also have one for global teacher. I'm sure you have skimmed through it and you are aware about it. And so your customer persona is something that can give you very direct information of what you can put in your profile, because this is like a very detailed information about your customers. So probably you will already have a customer persona for your entity, like probably downscaled by your MCs also. And preferably if you have one for your local market, if you have a local customer persona, then that's perfect, because that will be the most localized and most specified that you can ever get down to when it comes to your markets. So basically what it all comes down to is like, you just refer to your customer persona and you make your customer profile accordingly, right? The second part of your canvas is about your value proposition, which basically talks about your product, the services that you're providing. So whatever you are catering to, basically whatever you put in this part is basically what you are providing to your customer profile. So you can make this part in order to cater it in the best way possible for your customer profile, because you already have information on your customers. So now you can package your product and you can tailor your services based on whatever your customer profile is expecting or needing or requiring, right? So what we'll do now is that we can actually create the value proposition canvas itself. And Angela will share the link, or she's already shared the link.
I shared
Angela?
the link already. Yeah.
Cool, amazing, thank you. So Angela has shared a link in the chat. This is the link for like a sample worksheet that I've created. So you guys can actually do it side by side while I'm explaining it. But like what is more important is that you, after the space, you actually take this ahead within your departments. So that's like more important. You can do it like a little roughly right now when I'm explaining, just to better understand it or better grasp the concept of it. So you can open the sheet, you can create a copy for yourself, and you can yeah, you can just start filling from the third slide, because there's also like slides to like introduce and like detail, so that it's easier for you to understand it later on also. But yeah, you can just look at slide 3. You can see like you have slips over there, so you can start filling things up as and when I go about explaining the topic, right? Everyone cool? Amazing. So let's proceed. So when we're making the canvas, we again, like I said, start off with the customer profile. So you start off with the information about your customer, and you start off specifically from the customer jobs, which is this part that you see over there, right? So customer jobs are the jobs that your customers are trying to get done. They can be functional, social, or emotional. So now customer jobs are basically whatever activities that your customer is doing in order to achieve a given goal, a given set of ambition, or whatever it is that they want to do, right? So now when we're talking in ISEC context, specifically for this space, we'll take the example of an internship, because that is the simplest way we can break down, like the exchanges itself, right? So let's take the example that your customer is, let's say, a youth who is looking for an internship. So the customer jobs for that particular person will be, so now generally what will you do if you're looking for an internship? You'll do some research, you'll go online, you'll look for, online with different websites and things like that. So this will, all of this will come under your customer jobs, because these are the activities that you will do when you're looking for an internship. Second part is the pains, which talks about the pains that annoy your customers while trying to do the job, or negative outcomes that customers try to avoid, like dissatisfactions, frustrations, risk, obstacles, right? So whatever pains will be associated with the activities that the customer is doing. So now when you are looking for an internship, what sort of pains can you potentially encounter? Can be things like not being able to find the right opportunity for yourself, or having troubles with selections. Maybe the selection process is too long, or too difficult, or too rigid, or you're getting rejected again and again, things like that. So these are potential pains that your customer can experience. Similarly, gains are the basically whatever the customer wants to get out of the the activity that they're doing. So how customers measure the success of a job well done, positive outcomes that they hope to achieve, like results, benefits, aspirations. So anyone who's looking for an internship probably is expecting some sort of gains, like having a certificate by the end of it, or another thing can be, let's say, building their CV, their profile, or basically their end goal to get out of the internship is like, let's say, land enough experience for like getting a job or things like that. So this is basically what your customer profile can look like, right? And when it comes to the value proposition, so this is the part where you put down information about your product. So now you already have information on your customer. So what you essentially need to do right now is you just try to mirror your value proposition with your customer persona. Like each face of this value proposition will need to mirror the opposite face of the customer profile. So for products and services, you list down whatever products and services you have that will cater to the customer jobs. So in this, you will essentially have your product of GTA, GTE, and then other things that you're offering can be like, let's say, LDM, because that is what the core of the exchange is. Another thing can be exchange standards delivery, or anything and everything that you want to mention in services that you're giving out to them will come under this header. Then comes the pain relievers, which are basically things that you will do, like your products and service will do to eliminate, reduce, or minimize the pains that the customer is experiencing. So to make the life of the customer easier, how can you work on those pains? So now in the example, we saw that pains for a customer, like a customer looking for internship, would most probably be things like not finding the right opportunity, right? So maybe you can have consultancy spaces for that. Maybe you can help them with selection through, let's say, in nurturing them in some ways, preparing them for interviews, things like that. So these are again things, these are add-on things that you can do for your customers to cater to their pain or be pain relievers through your value proposition. And similarly, for gain creators are about how they produce, increase, or maximize outcomes and benefits your customers expect, desire, or will be surprised by. So, how are you creating certain gains that your customer are looking for? As in, how are you not just meeting up to the expectations that they have from whatever they want to get done with? So, not just meeting up to that, but actually exceeding them, right? So, one example in ISEC context for this can be for example, leadership. So a lot of people who will choose your product or who will want to go on your exchange will actually not, like, their primary goal will not be to attain leadership, but then that will be a very major learning that they'll get out of the entire experience. So this is probably a gain creator that your customers will be surprised by because they didn't expect it, but then they got something extra, which was really great, right? So yeah, at the end of the day, what your value proposition canvas needs to look like is, like I said, it needs to mirror each other. Like products and services will cater to your customer jobs, your pain relievers will ease the pains, and your gain creators will create the gains that your customer is expecting, right? So you achieve your perfect fit by creating a clear connection with what matters to your customers and how your products and services are catering to all of this, right? So yeah, this is how you go about creating your value proposition canvas. And like I said, you can carry this forward with your departments, because at the end of the day, what we're trying to do here is that we're trying to localize whatever we are offering through our products to our local markets. So this value proposition canvas in itself will not just help you customize your services better, but will also help you and your members better understand the relevance of your products within your markets. So at the end of the day, whenever next time, whenever someone is asking your members that, like, why exactly should I buy your product, or how will this help me? Why should I go on this exchange? Then if you have done this, if you have taken forward this activity, then probably your members will be more insightful when it comes to giving solutions to this, right? And hopefully this will be your leads who, after hearing them out, and they'll just be like, okay, take my money. So yeah. Cool. So we just don't want to leave this conversation just here yet. Like we wanted to take it forward. So we've also included like an external to give you like more perspective on. So yeah, we have Angela's EP. Her name is Olivia. She's from Ukraine and she's currently on her GTA exchange in Hong Kong. So what we wanted to do is that we wanted to hear out Olivia. So we've sort of interviewed her and trying to understand like how exactly did the product or the exchange in general help her out with
Hi
her
everyone, this is Angela. And
can you all hear this?
yep, that's good.
I'll just play.
Please forgive my weird.
So yeah, I'll just play the video and then make sure that you just don't hear this and like end it here. But yeah, the idea of like getting an EP here to like and interviewing the EP for you guys is basically so that you get another perspective on it and get a customer perspective on the value proposition of the product. So make sure to also like jot down things, whatever things you find relevant in what she says. Maybe there are certain things that you find relatable to your own context as well. So things like that, you can just put that down and take those conversations forward. Angela, you want to add anything?
Yeah, it's just nice that you can listen to what Alicia thinks, and then maybe it's of course her experience, so she might not cover everything from like a normal customer persona, but just treat it as one of the perspective that you can get, maybe because like it's not really easy to have exchange. As you know, the realization number is just like around 10 or to 20. So it's very valuable that she is here. And maybe it's just one point to know about one perspective. Yeah, Justin, you can play the interview.
Cool, amazing. Thank you.
My EP, Alicia. So maybe Alicia, you can tell us more about yourself first.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Olesya and I come from Ukraine. I'm 22 years old and I work in Retail Pack, which is the packaging company here in Hong Kong. My company is in B2B business, so we work directly with businesses. And what we do is we create designs for packaging. So yeah, this is what I do in Hong Kong. And 5 months in Hong Kong. I didn't even realize that it's been 5 months. It just, the time goes so quickly.
Yeah.
And it's been a really great experience so far. And I'm getting my contract prolonged for another 6 months. And I'm really happy about it because 6 months in Hong Kong, it's not enough. And you definitely need more time to explore this city. Just, it's so volatile and there are so many things to do. And yeah, it's very difficult for me to believe that I've been here for so much time. It feels like I only arrived a week ago, just everything going so fast. And yeah, it's been a great time, even though I kind of arrived here and the I think it's fourth wave of pandemic started. So it's been a good experience to see how Hong Kong is dealing with the pandemic, especially after I've seen how my country deals with the pandemic. It gives you a very different perspective, and I'm happy to be in Hong Kong during this time. I find it amazing, and even though there is a pandemic going on and all these restrictions, you still have so many things to do outdoors and just go explore some places, islands. So yeah, it's been amazing. I'm really looking forward to the rest of this year. Another 7 months in Hong Kong. Yeah, very excited.
Yeah, that's like I'm very happy to know that you really think that like your times in Hong Kong pass so fast. Like it's very fast for me as well. Like from the first day I'm still finding apartments for you, and right now you're already in your fifth month. It's a very long already for me as well. Yeah. Uh going going back to like before you come to Hong Kong, like may I know like how did you start like finding this opportunity? Like what was in your mind? Like why Hong Kong? Why coming with biotech? Why global talent? And like especially why this time?
Mhm. So I knew about ISEC a long time before I actually applied to any of ISEC programs. It's a very big thing in Ukraine. I think it's like ISEC is like obviously known worldwide, but in Ukraine, like we just know that ISEC it's a great thing to try, and at some point, you should definitely go for it. And volunteering in ISEC is very popular in Ukraine, but I don't know, it just because I graduated from my university and 22 years old, so I thought that maybe I should pursue something more professional. And I didn't even know that ISEC has the GT program, and I think it only became a thing half a year ago, right, when the format of ISEC was changed.
Yeah, a bit of change.
So
but it's the program is always here.
Yeah. So yeah, I was thinking about ISEC for quite some time, and like 2 years ago, I was thinking about going to China because there are a lot of opportunities there because I was doing my research, and yeah, I never really got to it because one thing or another. And then when the pandemic hit, I think it was March, and I had been struggling with my work because my project that I've been working on, they were canceled because of this situation, and I realized that I need to move forward, and I need to not to get another job, but maybe just like I felt like there was no more room for the development, and I should go for something more marketing related, and I should educate myself a little bit more. And I've never been working internationally, so this whole thing it has been intriguing me for quite some time. And the pandemic, I think it accelerated this decision to look for some kind of an international professional internship. So I started to explore ISEC more thoroughly, and I saw that there are a lot of great opportunities marketing related. And I don't know, I wasn't looking for Hong Kong specifically, but very interested in Asia region. And it just I found that in Hong Kong at that time it offered quite a few marketing related opportunities. So I decided to go for it. And I've never been to Asia before, and I thought that would be a great experience. And did my research in Hong Kong, thought it was amazing, and I started dreaming. Oh God, what if I worked in this? What if I worked in Hong Kong? That would be so amazing. So applied for it, and surprisingly, 3 months after I'm in Hong Kong. It's just crazy to think about it. It's at this point because it just I don't know, just it still feels a little bit surreal. And I'm really happy that I got to that program, and then I went to Hong Kong because it's a very different place. And I think this place is just it gives you it's a great start of like it's a great way to accelerate your career by working in different environments. So I just get to learn new things, not only in marketing, but like how to manage how business works in Hong Kong. So it's a lot of things. And so
Nice. There's good. Like maybe you just said that you have dreamt about like or you imagined about what is Hong Kong like, working in Hong Kong like. Yeah, people. So because we are running out of time, you see there's still three or something minutes left. We will share this video in the output as well, so you can take a look at the whole video later on. And there's some like more detailed explanation on how Olivia think that Hong Kong, by working in Hong Kong, enhanced her career. But basically, I think you kind of got her idea on why did she come to this internship here in Hong Kong, and why did she what did she get from it. And I'll pass the time to Jocelyn to talk more about our later activity.
Cool. Right. So, guys, now that we have like went through the value proposition, and then we've heard a little bit of Olivia's context as well on it. So, we just want to have like a quick breakout room for you guys to just like conclude your ideas and like discuss that together of how you see GTA, GTE adding value to your entity or to the world in general today. So, Sarah, I think we can have it for like 5 minutes. Cool. 5 minutes, and we can have 3 people in one room. So
Yeah, we can have to 5 to 6 minutes, and we'll let you know when we are closing it. Yeah, so I'll open it right now. So please join the breakout room and enjoy the discussion.
welcome back, guys, and we'll just take like a quick couple of sharings of if anyone wants to share anything of like probably anything or I mean something interesting that you guys talked about, any new perspective that you got, or anything important that you would want to share with people or you want people to know. So we can have like a couple of sharings. You can type down your name or raise your. I think you can type down your name, but
Or you can just unmute yourself and you can talk directly.
whatever suits.
Yep. We'll take in like a few sharings, and then that's it for us. Yeah, hi.
I think maybe I can share. Oh, let
Okay.
me open my camera.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
I'm sorry. Like, may I have a look at the question again?
Yes,
Yeah,
of
cool.
course.
So, like, you don't have to necessarily answer the question, but otherwise, like, the question was about you discussing the product, the relevance in your entity and the world, or things like that in general. So, yeah, you can just speak on that context. Like, whatever you discuss, you can share.
You move
Ah,
the
okay.
question.
Okay, understand. Then in this discussion, we also we discuss about the value of the GT. Basically, it's the value of the GT product, where it is shown in the previous slide. Is like bringing in global perspective, and then providing the opportunity for the youth to have internship, and then also like improve the employment of the youth. And in my opinion, I think like this is also very relevant to the world, because if through internship, especially when we're taking them from other country, this can actually diversify our working style. Like for example, like maybe this country that they really strictly following on the working time, like 8 to 5, and then they will go back. They will go rest after 8 to 5. But maybe some other country that prefer to work overtime, something like this. So I think this one is the thing that one of the example that I think can bring into the company. And also, I think like it's for the world, right? Yeah, it's basically to connect everyone from different parts of the world and make us to like understand each other more through the program. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Jesse, for sharing. And I think if, I think we'll proceed. If has anyone volunteered to share, or I cannot see the chat. Angela, if you can help.
I don't think so, but it's okay. Like you can share it anywhere you like. You can share it back to your network. It will be very nice as well. And then Jocelyn, you can continue.
Cool. We proceed then. So yeah. So again, so like Jesse also mentioned a little bit about employment, and if you guys have been keeping up with, whatever we have been discussing in TLC also so far, is a lot about, or a lot on grounds with how the world actually needs our product now more, even more than it ever did before, right? So how if you look at right now, like how the world is in a very different context, and the employment is not the best, and probably even the youth is not having a lot of exposure. If you look at how college students are not getting the practical experience that they would have otherwise gotten to some extent in their colleges, but now they're not even getting that. So our products, like the sort of platform that they need right now, the youth needs right now, is something that our products can provide them with. This platform that they can, like explore themselves, they can develop themselves, they can activate their leadership. And by the way, leadership is like the need of the hour right now. Like that is what we really, really need right now. And this is something that our products can cater to, right? So yes, this is the power that you guys have in your hands as people who are running this product, who are working for Global Talent and working for Global Teacher. So if you are here in this room, and just wanted to let you know that, if you are dejected and you're feeling that probably, like, I don't know how my term will go this year because of pandemic and things like that. So we're here to tell you that, firstly, like, be proud of yourself to like even be here, to like taking up this role, to sign up for this role. So be proud of that, and also just realize that this is the amount of power that you have, and this is exactly where you were needed the most. Like the world right now needed us the most, and like, yeah, that is the amount of power that you have in your hands right now. So be proud of that, be privileged, feel privileged to be here for that. And yeah, just make sure that you're doing justice to that, make sure that you're making the most out of this power that you have in your hands. Yeah.
Nice, thank you, Jocelyn. So with this question, I also actually would like to add a new question for you to think about after this conference and after this session. How do you think GTA and GTE create an impact through you? Because all in all, like we mentioned a lot about the regional context, the global context, but we also link it back to you. So it's very important for you yourself to also think about what impact could you make. So for the next slide, we would like to just tell you how vital and how important you are as a GT. So actually, because when I was approached by my agenda manager, and when she told me, "Oh, you should do this session with Jaslyn," she was telling me that like you can share something that you wish you would know when you got on board as a LCVP. And one thing that I would like to really know is actually about how important a LCVP GT is. It's not like you don't think about, oh, AIVP is very important, MCVP is very important, but you are actually very important, because when you look back, of course, the AIVP would do some product changes, product structural changes, and then the RO give different support. The MCVP will downscale different strategies, but the ultimate person who delivers like the values, deliver the whole experience, get in touch with EPs and companies is always about you, about the LCVP, because you are the one touching the customers. And then the next part that I'd like to mention about is that we talked about strong, like this word, a lot of times. We mentioned that we would like the GT program to become more stronger and more relevant. And the second thing is about AP region as a whole. You see the logo here, right? It's called Own a Limitless Asia Pacific. So of course the product or the community is limitless, but your potential is also limitless. So we would like you to become stronger, and you can achieve like exponential growth in your experience here in Isaac, and of course as a leader here. So you can see the linkage between the two. So when you become stronger, the product itself can also become strong in some way. And how can you make this happen? So we have 3 different plans for you. So firstly, of course, to plan out your term. It's your 3rd month. Of course, it's very, you just started, it's a fresh new start. But we think that with this ever-changing global environment, it's very important for us to always keep the checkpoints open. And we need to know some milestones where we need to reflect and maybe amend our plans afterwards as well. And risk contingencies are very important for us to also plan out different measures and mitigation for even under very extreme situation and surprising situations. And also for the second part, we know that we need to conduct any analysis, just as what Jaslyn mentioned about the value proposition analysis, that we know what can we do, what we have and what we don't have. And we never have the correct answer to it. You will not have a correct answer, model answer from us, not from AI, not from your MC, because as Jaslyn mentioned, everything is about localization, and you can only have your own definite good answer with your own exploration. And at last, of course, it's going back to opportunities that you might get. There are a lot of opportunities no matter on your market, on your talent. So they will never come to you. You will never just have the opportunity just by sitting there. You need to get it by yourself. So you need to actively grasp and explore every opportunity you have. And I would like to also promote the IR space later on by our RST teammates and also our India MCVP of IGT and OGT, Susan and Ngat, and they will hold an RR space for different LCs and MCs later. So you can also get in touch with other opportunities over there. And at last, wrapping up the whole session, would just like to again allow me to tell you about Isaac 2025, since we are the first generation, and of course about GTA and GTE, we are the first generation as well. How do we own the present is to understand the present is that we are not in the best situation for exchange, but how can we get the ownership of what we have right now? What edge do we have, and what are our customers looking for? And how can we present the best solution for them in the present? Shape the future is about how our product is not just going to run right now, but it's going to run for the future, not just under COVID-19, but beyond COVID-19. So how do we shape the future or ourselves, like ourselves as a leader or our product as a whole? How do we shape it to the future is very important as well. Going to the last part is lead the change. All the change happens from a person, and it does not mean that you're LCVP, you cannot make any change. You can start with some changes on how you do operations, how you approach your EP, how do you talk with your EPs, or maybe even your leads, and how do you engage with them? You don't have to onboard every single one of them in this situation because everyone has their own considerations towards having exchange, but how can you still give them the value of leadership and maybe even engage them them after the whole situation, or maybe we have new innovations such as VPP and partly remote. How can we put them into action and lead the whole change? And the last sentence of the whole ISAC 2025 is about proud to become an ISACer. So there is also a lot of different sayings in the whole TLC that we should be very privileged to live at this time, that we have this challenge to get through. And there's one thing that I would like to highlight. It's because GT is never really the focus, as you can say, of ELD programs, because we had put a lot of focus on GB before, but since it's very special times, GT became the focus. And I think every one of you should be very proud of that. And you can take this opportunity and make your change. And of course, we are proud to be an ISACer, to become an LCVP of GT in this very difficult and very special times. And don't think as a very difficult time, maybe it's a very good time for you to shine and be bright stars in the sky. So I think definitely you can be very proud of that. And that ends the session of GT for LCVPs. Yeah, very happy that everyone is here for you. And yeah, this is the time where GT can take a leap. And if everyone is okay, do you think we can also take a picture together after the whole thing? Because thank you for having us here as well. Yeah. Nice. We